Welcome back to the channel USD Coins Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today, you're in for a fascinating journey into the world of rare American coins, where tiny mistakes can lead to massive paydays. Grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and get ready to dive deep into the story of one of the most elusive and valuable modern coins in U.S. history, the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar, which, believe it or not, has fetched a jaw-dropping $3.3 million at auction. That's right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents is worth millions, and we're going to break down exactly why that is. Now, you might be wondering how on earth a coin that looks like any other quarter from your change jar could possibly be worth so much. The answer lies in the world of minting errors, rare die varieties, and one-of-a-kind anomalies that make certain coins incredibly sought after by collectors. With the 1979 Liberty Quarter, there are several key factors at play that have turned this relatively common coin into a legendary piece of numismatic history. Let's start by painting the picture of the year itself. 1979 was a significant time for U.S. currency. It was the first year that the U.S. Mint released the Susan B. Anthony dollar, marking a change in American coinage. At the same time, quarters were being minted in large quantities at various mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint added its own small mark to the coin, a P, D, or S, which denotes where the coin was made. And this is where things start to get interesting. Now, the bulk of 1979 quarters are worth only their face value. You could find one in your couch cushions or in the change from your morning coffee. But a few of these quarters are incredibly special. They stand out because of extremely rare errors that occurred during the minting process. These errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, die clashes, and the holy grail of all, the misapplication or total absence of a mint mark, or a misplaced one. The quarter in question, the one that fetched $3.3 million, is a near-mythical specimen of numismatic wonder. It wasn't just minted incorrectly, it combined several rare errors all on one coin. The most well-known and discussed variation is believed to have come from the San Francisco Mint, which typically produced proof coins. These coins were struck with specially prepared dies and polished planchets, intended primarily for collectors, not for general circulation. That makes any proof coin found in circulation inherently more valuable. But it gets crazier. This particular 1979 quarter featured a significant mint mark error. Normally, San Francisco Mint coins have a clear and deliberate S on the obverse side of the coin. But due to a known issue during this minting period, the U.S. Mint had two types of S mint marks, the so-called Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 had a more blob-like, less refined appearance, while Type 2 had a sharply defined and well-formed S. Only a limited number of Type 2 coins were minted in comparison to Type 1, making them rare. Now, imagine finding a Type 2 coin with additional flaws, a double die obverse, for example, where the features on the coin appear double due to a misalignment during the die striking process. The $3.3 million 1979 quarter is believed to be one such combination of several rare attributes: a proof strike from the San Francisco Mint, a sharply defined Type 2 mint mark, and multiple die-related errors including a doubling of the lettering and a possible clash of dies where the coin was struck. Without a planchet between the dies, leaving ghost-like imprints of the opposite side on both faces of the coin. That's not something you find every day, or even every decade, but it doesn't end there. Some collectors and experts have speculated that the coin may also have been struck on the wrong planchet, a blank intended for a different coin entirely, perhaps a Susan B. Anthony dollar or even a foreign coin. This kind of error is exceedingly rare and usually only happens when planchets from one denomination get mixed into the wrong bin, then make their way through the striking process unnoticed. A quarter-sized coin struck on a dollar planchet would be both larger and heavier than normal, but still show the design of a quarter, albeit distorted. If you find one of these in your possession, you may well be holding onto a small fortune. What truly drives the astronomical value of a coin like this is not just the presence of errors, but their combination and condition. A coin with a single error might fetch a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, but when you have a specimen that has multiple distinct and extremely rare errors, and it's in pristine condition, that's when you start entering million-dollar territory. The coin that sold for $3.3 million was graded by a leading third-party grading company as being in virtually flawless condition, which in the world of coin collecting is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of grass. But let's take a moment to understand what kinds of errors might make a coin incredibly valuable. First, there's the double die error, where the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions. This causes a noticeable doubling of letters or numbers, often visible in the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. Then there's the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or cut off. Die cracks or die breaks occur when the die used to strike the coin starts to fracture, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin. And then there are planchet errors, using the wrong metal blank entirely, resulting in incorrect weight, color, or size. In rare cases, the mint mark itself might be missing, inverted, or even relocated. While it might seem like a small detail, mint marks are crucial for identifying where and how a coin was made. In the 1979 quarters case, a missing or incorrect mint mark on a proof coin, which should never happen, is a glaring error that immediately draws interest from collectors. The thrill of coin collecting comes from the possibility that something ordinary might actually be extraordinary. This is what makes the story of the 1979 Liberty Quarter so captivating. It reminds us that sometimes, the rarest treasures are hiding in plain sight. It also tells us something about how the U.S. Mint operates, that even with rigorous quality control, the sheer volume of coins being produced means that mistakes are inevitable. And when those mistakes are caught and authenticated, they become part of a unique story that ties together history, economics, and a bit of luck. Interestingly, stories of high-value modern coins have inspired a wave of new collectors. People are starting to look at their change more carefully, hoping to spot that one in a million error. And while the odds of finding a $3.3 million coin are slim, there are plenty of valuable coins out there that have sold for thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Even a 1979 quarter with a simple off-center strike could fetch more than $100, and coins with doubling or other mint errors can go for even more, especially if they are in excellent condition. So the next time you come across a 1979 quarter, take a moment to look closely. Check the mint mark. Is it a Type 1 or Type 2? Examine the lettering and numbers. Is there any doubling? Is the coin the right size and weight? Does anything look out of place? Because while most of them are just ordinary coins, one out there might be the next million-dollar find. Today's story centers around a coin that many might overlook, a simple $0.25, minted in 1980, with the familiar image of Lady Liberty, yet this particular coin has turned heads, raised eyebrows, and shocked collectors and appraisers alike by fetching an astounding estimated value of up to $2.8 million. That's right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents is now one of the most sought-after pieces in the numismatic world. How is that even possible? The story of the 1980 Liberty $0.25 is not just about age or nostalgia. It's a story of minting anomalies, rare errors, strange historical twists, and one of the most bizarre combinations of factors ever discovered in the U.S. Mint's history. It's also a testament to how imperfections, rather than perfection, can make something truly priceless. So get comfortable, and let's explore how a coin you might have in your drawer, or even jingling in your car's cup holder, could, in rare instances, be worth a life-changing fortune. To begin, we need to understand what the 1980 Liberty Quarter is in its basic form. The coin, officially known as the Washington Quarter, features the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse, the front of the coin, just like many quarters before and after it. The D mint mark signifies that it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the primary U.S. mint facilities. In 1980, millions upon millions of quarters were struck at the Denver facility, intended for circulation all across the country. At face value, there is absolutely nothing extraordinary about them. They're made of a cupronickel-clad composition, copper sandwiched between layers of nickel, and weigh about 5.67 grams. So why would a 1980 quarter be valued at nearly $3 million? It comes down to a perfect storm of errors and anomalies that elevate this otherwise ordinary coin to a level of extraordinary worth. The coin's fame and fortune derive from a combination of extremely rare minting errors, possibly one-of-a-kind die varieties, misstruck features, planchet flaws, and even misplaced mint marks that defy the quality control standards that the U.S. Mint usually maintains. Let's delve first into one of the most critical aspects, the minting error. The term minting error refers to a mistake that occurs during the coin's production process. Errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, die clashes, planchet errors, and more. In the case of this rare 1980D quarter, what we're dealing with is an unusual collection of multiple errors that may have all occurred at once, something so astronomically unlikely that it has stunned even veteran numismatists. First, there's the double die error. This occurs when the coin die itself, the metal piece that stamps the design onto a blank planchet, is impressed with the design more than once in slightly different positions. The result is a coin that looks like it has doubled features, often most noticeable in the lettering or in the facial features of Washington himself. While double die coins are not unheard of, the severity and clarity of this doubling on the 1980D quarter is what contributes to its incredible rarity. The phrase, "In God we trust," may appear shadowed or doubled. Likewise, the word "liberty" might show signs of significant distortion, especially under magnification. Then there's the off-center strike. Coins are meant to be struck precisely in the center of the planchet, but sometimes, mechanical misalignments can lead to the coin being struck slightly, or even severely, off-center. When this happens in small degrees, it may not affect the coin's value much. But when the strike is dramatically off, say more than 15 or 20% off-center while still leaving the date and mint mark legible, it becomes a key error that collectors prize. In the case of this multi-million-dollar quarter, the off-center strike complements the double die error, making it an even rarer specimen. Next, we come to one of the more intriguing aspects, the mint mark itself. The D mint mark on the 1980 Denver quarter should, in theory, be uniformly placed and consistent across all coins produced from that facility. But in this instance, reports suggest a misplaced or repunched mint mark. In numismatic terms, this is referred to as an RPM, repunched mint mark. This happens when the mint mark is stamped onto the die more than once, but not in the exact same position. When the quarter is struck, this leaves a ghost-like double or shadow appearance around the D, creating a visual anomaly that is both rare and extremely sought after. Some examples also show a curious overpunched mint mark, a rare phenomenon where the mint mark seems to overlap with another letter or number, suggesting the die may have been retooled improperly or reused in a way not typically permitted. These kinds of errors are not just rare, they often escape the mint's quality checks entirely and are only discovered when the coins enter circulation and are closely examined by someone who knows what they're looking for. Let's talk about the possibility of wrong planchet errors. A planchet is the blank disc of metal that gets stamped into a coin. Occasionally, planchets intended for one coin, say a foreign coin or a different denomination, are accidentally fed into the press for another. This could result in a quarter struck on a dime-sized planchet, or on a planchet made from different metals, giving the coin an unusual weight, feel, or even sound. Speculation around the $2.8 million quarter includes the possibility that it was struck on a transitional planchet, or even one intended for a different series or denomination altogether. These errors are incredibly rare, and the chances of a wrong planchet being paired with multiple other errors like double die and repunched mint mark are astronomically small. There's also chatter among coin experts about an alleged die clash. This occurs when the two dies that strike the coin collide with each other without a planchet in between. When this happens, they transfer parts of each other's design onto themselves, which then show up on the next coins they strike. This can result in ghostly images or outlines that aren't supposed to be on a coin. Imagine seeing faint outlines of the eagle from the reverse side appearing on the front of the coin. Now that's something collectors go crazy for. Another compelling layer to this mystery coin is the possibility of a transitional design element. Every so often, the U.S. Mint prepares for a change in design or composition, and transitional errors happen when a coin is struck with the wrong die from a previous or future design. If a 1980D quarter was struck with dies meant for a different year, or even worse, a different denomination, it would result in a spectacular error. While no one can say for certain whether this is the case with the $2.8 million quarter, there are hints in its anomalous features that suggest something may have gone terribly, or wonderfully, wrong at the Denver Mint that year. Adding to the intrigue is the theory that only a single known specimen of this combination of errors exists, or perhaps just a tiny handful. Rarity is the primary driver of value in the numismatic world, and when a coin is believed to be one of one, or one of three, even, it skyrockets in worth. Just like the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, a coin becomes priceless when there are so few known examples and intense demand from collectors. Now, let's discuss authentication and verification, because the coin's incredible value is tied not just to its errors, but to its legitimacy. Any claim about a multi-million-dollar coin must be backed up by expert examination and certification from top numismatic grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. The $2.8 million quarter is reported to have been authenticated and encapsulated with a grade that reflects not only its rarity but its condition. The grading scale, which goes from 1 to 70, assigns higher values to coins with fewer marks, better strikes, and greater eye appeal. In this case, the coin has been rumored to fall into the high 60s on the Mint State scale, a truly extraordinary condition for an error coin that also circulated. Even briefly, collectors aren't just fascinated by the errors, they're captivated by the mystery. How did such a confluence of mistakes pass through quality control? Was this coin accidentally created during a late-night shift? Did a Mint employee notice the anomalies and let it go for fun, or was it purely accidental, a freak occurrence born of failing machinery and human oversight? Interestingly, there's also some speculation that the coin may have briefly entered general circulation before being pulled by a sharp-eyed collector or someone with a lucky break. Stories abound of people finding extremely rare coins in pocket change, flea markets, or old coin jars, and while these stories may seem like folklore, they sometimes turn out to be true. Could this ultra-rare 1980D quarter have been hiding in plain sight, passing from hand to hand, before its true identity was discovered? It's entirely possible, and it adds an element of treasure hunt excitement to the whole phenomenon. There's also the human side of this story. The owner of this coin, whether a longtime collector or a lucky newcomer, holds in their possession a piece of history that defies logic and expectation. What must it be like to realize that a quarter you own, one you might have found in an old collection or a coin roll, is worth more than most luxury homes? The sheer improbability of such a thing is what makes coin collecting so thrilling.